Hi, it's Lori with Scraps and Pieces. I'm just hopping on here to do a quick tutorial on how to cut a title out of your photo for our challenge for this week. If you're watching this on YouTube and have any questions, you can post them in our comments on our YouTube channel and we'll get back to you. If you have questions and are participating in this challenge with our Scraps and Pieces challenge and tutorial Facebook group, in order to earn a coupon for 50 to 60% off on our products, you will need to post your comments on there. If you are doing the challenge and complete it, please post your completed layout on our Facebook group and we will get you a coupon within 24 to 48 hours. I am doing this on Photoshop. If you are using Photoshop Elements or Photopea, you should be able to follow along fairly closely with the same commands and instructions. Again, if you have any questions, just ask them in the group or on the YouTube channel and we will get back with you on how to do that. So here is my completed layout just so that you can kind of see what we're trying to do. I like to do this on photos that I want to be big on my layout and have a lot of empty space on the photo. It takes up some of the space and it's kind of a cool effect to do. So this is the completed layout on the left. This is the layout that we're working on the right. I already have my layout completed and we're just going over the photo technique and not how to do a layout. So you should be able to complete your layout separately with what you have learned before. We do have beginner classes on Photopea, which will also go along with Photoshop Elements or Photoshop if you are new and want to follow along with those on our YouTube channel. If you click the subscribe and notification bell in YouTube, then you'll be notified when we post new videos. So I'm going to go ahead and start the layout. I've got all my tools over on the right-hand side. In your program, they are probably on the left-hand side unless you've moved them. So just so that you don't get confused on what the differences are. I'm going to choose my move tool, which is this top one with the arrow and the little directional plus sign. And then I'm going to choose my photo and drag it over to my layout. And it is on top of my layout, as you can see. There's a couple ways you can move that layer down. The quick command is Control and the left bracket key will move the layer down. Control and the right bracket key moves layers up. Or you can just click on the layer and drag it down below. And then with this tool still selected, which is my move tool, I'm going to center the photo a little bit better so that their feet aren't cut off at the bottom and I can get my title along here. Next thing, while we're still on our photo layer, we're going to choose our text tool, which is this one with the T by it. Currently, I've got mine set as vertical text, so you can do vertical or horizontal. I want to do horizontal with this layout. I tried it with vertical and the waves, the word gets lost in the waves. So where it's a little bit more smooth and the same color down here, I'm going to do horizontal. So I'm going to choose that and choose the horizontal type tool. You'll want to use a chunky font for this layout. It makes it look a little bit better. You can try anything you want, but I think the chunky ones look better. I'm using one called Impact, and I'm not sure if this is one that just comes with my computer, or if not, it should be a free font on dafont.com, DAFONT.com, and it's called Impact. So I'm going to choose that font, and then I'm going to choose, you can choose your size right here. Your color is right here, and you will want that to be something that is going to show up on your layout for our initial purposes. It doesn't really matter what color it is because you're going to cover it up with your photo. So I'm just going to choose white on here since we've got a darker layout or photo color behind. So we've got white chosen. You can adjust your size here. I'm going with 200 and we may have to adjust that a little bit, but we're going to start with that. So I'm going to draw a text box. So just hold down your left mouse key and drag a box where you want your title to be. So we've got it on there and I'm going to type that in all caps. And that is not fitting at that size. So I typed in beach and you can see that my H isn't there. So I can either drag my text box a little bit bigger and then choose your move tool again to move that around. And that's a little bigger than what well, that'll probably work. We can go, I think I'm going to go a little bit smaller on that font. So I'm going to double click on my text, the white text box over here in my layer. And then I'm going to go up here to my size. And you can highlight it and use your arrow keys to adjust the size. Or if you know the exact size you want, you can just type it in. So I'm going to just go down a little bit. That looks good. So when that's completed, I'm going to go ahead and hit enter or the checkbox to accept that change. So we've got our title on here. The next thing we're going to do is duplicate our photo layer, and you've got to make sure that your photo is where you want it and don't move it after you do this. Otherwise, it'll mess up the effect. So we're going to duplicate the layer. You can either right click and choose duplicate layer over here, or the quick command is Control J. So I'm going to do the quick command Control J, and you can see now I have 2 photo layers right here. Before I drag this layer up to my font, I'm going to add my shadow. Otherwise, the text won't show up because it will be flat. So choose your text layer again, and then go down here to the FX tool. Choose drop shadow. And we'll adjust it later, but I know we're going to need it a little bit bigger. So we'll just go up on our size a little bit here and our distance a little bit, and then we'll adjust it later. So you can see that hold those words up off of the page with the shadow. So we're going to click OK. And remember, you can always come back and adjust that later. If your layout is lighter, you might not want as dark or as deep of a shadow as if it's dark like it is on mine. So keep that in mind. So we're going to hit OK. And then our photo layer we need to have on top of our text. So we're going to drag it up, or you can use that bracket key. The Control left bracket will move that up. So now my photo is on top of my text. So I've got a photo, the text, and another photo. And then we're going to clip our photo to our text layer. So there's a couple ways you can do that. You can use Control, Shift, and G together to clip it, or you can right click and create clipping mask. So now you can see that moved that over, showing that that's clipped to my title. Okay. And it doesn't quite show up how I want it to show up. So I'm going to play with my shadows again. So I'm going to go back down here to the text layer. So remember that whatever layer you're working on, you need to have selected over here, and it will turn blue. And then I'm going to double click on the FX, which is going to bring up my drop shadow where I can change it over here in this control panel. So then we can play with this. So the spread is going to adjust things. Your size is going to adjust how big the shadow is. Your distance is going to be how far up off the page it is. So you don't want it to be like floating really high. You just want to be able to differentiate the title from the layout. So just going to play with that a little bit. You can also change the angle. So if I go over here, you can see how that shifts the angle of the shadow, or if you want the shadow to be up above, it kind of just depends on your preference. I usually like my shadows to be going down and to the right. So there we are. We are all done. Easy enough, right? And you would just merge that all together, save your layout so that you can print it. Remember, if you have any questions, to ask them either on the YouTube page or on the challenge group.